Now, we know where Sarah Iannarone stands on Mayor Ted Wheeler. She's asked him to step down several times, in fact, saying his tactics against protesters have only made things worse. But oddly, Republicans have said the same thing, but kind of for different reasons, accusing him of not being aggressive enough with violent protesters. Wheeler creates a strange kind of Venn diagram where Sarah Iannarone and President Trump actually share a bubble. And despite Wheeler's ability to successfully mix political oil and water, he said many times he will not step down. But those calls have led to some questions from some of you at home, some of our viewers, about who would take over if he did. Kristen Severance is here with the answer.
Okay, so viewer Brandon B. asked us, what happens if Ted Wheeler resigns as mayor of Portland? Who is next in line for mayor? So to verify, we checked with Portland City Code. The answer, no one automatically fills the role of mayor. Instead, the city council would be required to hold special elections to nominate and elect a new mayor. And the rules kind of change a bit based on the timing of a resignation, especially because we're getting close to Election Day. In terms of timing, elections officials with the city of Portland told me it would be up to council on how to act in this situation, given factors such as expenses and time-consuming logistics for special elections, potential for public confusion, and the ending of the current mayor's term on December 31st, 2020. It is too late to add or remove any items or candidates appearing on Portland's ballot for the November 3rd general election. And that election is not for the current term, but for the upcoming one. But we can verify the only time another city council member would take over for the mayor is in the event of a, quote, death or crippling disability due to a natural disaster, calamity, accident, or enemy attack. I hope that answers your question, but it's important to remember Mayor Wheeler has said he has no plans to resign. Do you have a question? Let us know. Just use everyone's favorite hashtag, HeyDan.